Mhm. All right, Pete, it's live whenever you decide you're ready.
All right. With that, we'll meeting order. Would you please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll call this meeting to order. Have a roll call.
Tom Eggers.
Here.
Chantel Ostrov. Here. Pete Hamel.
Here.
Ken Snyder.
Here.
Brad Hint.
Here.
With that, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call.
Hint.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Ostrov. Eggers.
Aye.
Public forums, anyone here want to address anything that's addition? I see none, they've written,
None.
okay. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Roll call.
Hamel.
Aye.
Ostrov. Eggers.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
There's no old business, so we'll move on to new business. The first item was the introduction of capital improvement plans for fiscal year 27. There are Excel and PDF attachments to your agenda. I would like to we look at the 15-year agenda, should include the other stuff. I looked through it a little bit before, and the only comment that I really have is that there's a couple of years where we're gonna have to stretch or rearrange or something. In year 3, we have a total of $960,000, so we'll have to look at that as we get closer. And then in year 5, $1,271,000. So as we get closer to that, we're gonna have to address that. Coming year, any comments that anybody else has, please? Well, again, this is the introduction thing. As we get closer, we'll, I'm sure, have a lot more discussion on it, especially when we get around the budget.
So just a couple things. There's probably going to be some changes. Mark and I met today, and he's going to come back with maybe some economic development things. And library got theirs to me, but it's going to be, theirs needs to be approved tonight by the board, so that will get inserted also, but I believe everybody else's is up to date.
No other comments? Let's move on to the strategic planning review. We talked about this on December 11th and approved our strategic planning. And if you recall, we had 2 different tiers of outcomes. Tier 1, we adopted, the choices were 2, 6, 29, and 33. 2 was review the aesthetics of the west, east, and south gateway corridors, prepare an improvement plan. Any discussion on that or comments?
Yeah, what process have we adopted for that? We know we've got some activity going on, from a property perspective, but what is the overall direction of this? That would produce an improvement plan.
Well, obviously, we're doing a lot more than just on this plan, but these things we talked about, and I know that there's some effort to do some things on those corridors. They're not progressing as we might want, but as far as improving the entrance signs, and I know there's some movement to adapt, maybe a new logo, that kind of thing, and update some of those kinds of things. But as far as infrastructure and things, I'm not sure. Sam, any comments?
I can help you prepare one. I know that there's some overlap between this and what SCDC has been working on. I'm happy to sit down with Mark and see what we can come up. It'd be a combination of here are some of the things that have occurred, and here are some of the things that we believe would be beneficial, and bring forward a detailed one pager. I don't think it'd be complicated. Some of these things have been programmed for some time and just happen to be coming forward, not as a result of this action per se, but as just pre-programmed, like nice improvements that we've seen along Highway 18 this year, and improvements on Western Avenue. And then I would say that the acquisition of the Van Hall property, cleaning that up, is probably a direct result of this plan. So, does that sound like a fair path?
It's just that I don't think we have anything in writing on what the plan is.
No.
And therefore, when opportunities come around, or we want to take a direction, we don't really have anything structured sitting there that says, okay, this is what we're going to do. And that way, when those come around, then we plan for it, we move ahead on it. I think that the intent of this goal was to prepare an improvement plan. Because right now, what I think is an improvement plan would be different from anyone you guys think is an improvement plan. So that's the point I'm trying to raise here is, are we looking to have a full review and come up with a singular plan that could be detailed or not as detailed, but give direction to us and the SCDC, those that are involved.
And as time goes on, I would say that's a great idea. We should document some of the progress. Number 6 was conduct an analysis of emergency services, coverage areas, operating funding, facilities, equipment, and compensation, create a long-term plan. We made some progress on that. There again, I don't know if we've documented anything, but that's a great idea. We should move further with that, see what kind of documentation we can come up with. 29 was evaluate the condition of the park system, park playground equipment, park maintenance levels, and create an improvement plan. And of course, then we kind of concentrated on the city park. And there's been there's some movement on that, there's some analysis that's taking place, and a little more structured than some of the other things. Any comments?
I was just gonna say that is nearing completion, the city park portion is. Mike is just about done with the draft plan, hoping to present to the Park and Recreation Board either late October, early November, to get some direction from them. And then after some direction from them, then to come to this body for the presentation. So it is, that part's a long way to process, at least for city.
Number 33, analyze daycare service options or expansion opportunities. And continue partnering with Children's World to reduce costs. And we, of course, have had some progress on that. Any comments from anybody that might be involved in that process?
Sam, do you know, has there been any further conversation with businesses? Or,
There was an initial letter sent out and by Tanya.
any feedback from businesses after?
I'd have to go back to them.
Other question I have with that is that I believe that with the assistance, we were hoping to expand the newborn. There was a couple extra spots that we were hoping to gain, bring relief to the families of the community with this assistance. Does that happen? Have we gotten 2 more into the system?
I don't believe so. I believe there was 28 infant spots and then I think 25 positions were occupied. Does that sound right?
Okay, then the second tier outcomes, number 1 was create a plan for downtown buildings, convert upper storage space to residential units, group businesses, okay. And build storefronts, and of course, there's across the street, there's been a lot of progress on the upper story development of that. It's ongoing, and that's exciting. We'll walk around tomorrow. Some people, where are they from, Mark?
Right, 2 representatives from the Iowa Economic Development Authority will be in town tomorrow. They'll spend most of the morning talking with business owners, the downtown footprint, and then doing their own observation. They'll break at noon and put together a report, which they will be presenting to the general public. Everybody's welcome at 2:30 upstairs here, and we'll kind of just discuss. Now, it's a brief, it won't be exhaustive, but it'll be interesting to get their observations from someone who looks at hundreds of downtown districts. So we're looking forward to that. So 2:30 is the time I'd like to emphasize to the general public.
Good. 45 is establish a forum for the city's schools, community college, and industries to collaborate on efforts for growth in the community. I know we instituted a monthly meeting of some of those entities just to talk over things, but as far as a public forum or anything, I don't know that we've done anything along that way.
Maybe the SCDC luncheon, which is an industry gathering in a sense, and includes a lot of the other players as well. I'm trying to recall what was behind this one. Does anybody else remember? It feels like we can check this one off. But I don't remember what was behind this one.
I think the last part of that was just to bring growth to the community was what kind of sparked in this conversation, but I do think that there is a lot of collaboration between the college, our community school, and businesses in town. I think our CAPS program does a really good job of tying those all together, so I will say there is an avenue for kind of handling this, so not necessarily
I
city.
feel like there's a great rapport between the city and school, city and NCC, and city and the 2 counties.
Well, I
It is a
know,
little bit disjointed, maybe.
yeah. Yes and no, because I think like the SCPC partners with the college, well, and O'Brien County Development, O'Brien Career Day, so. I mean, there's work being done towards this, I guess.
And the SEDC does have a presence in every one of the Northwest Iowa, the O'Brien County Economic Development, which happens every other month. And then it's also a part of the Northwest Iowa Industrial Development. We're part of those monthly hearings as well.
Number 48, develop a land acquisition strategy for commercial and industrial land. And that's ongoing. We have an auction coming up to decide on, and of course, we just announced the acquisition. It's not industrial, but an additional housing area. That's exciting. See where that goes. Write a plan for planning and development marketing of existing residential commercial properties. I think that again goes along with some of the things that the CDC is working on, some other people.
If I might.
Certainly.
So I recall conversations with SCDC, and I believe that 2, 48, and 49, they were working on, they were kind of taking the lead on with us as support. I believe this was on some of their planning as well. But to kind of recap, I'd be happy to help with direction I'm taking out of this meeting is I'll work with Mark and I work together on number 2, try to dust off what had been started there. I'm not sure how to find that out. Number 6, I'll just leave that to you. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to do to assist with that. Number 29, I feel like we've got a good plan with City Park, or at least starting with City Park. Number 33, I will find out the answer to your questions on large business participation. And then in the second tier, number 1 is leave that to Mark and SCDC for now and see how tomorrow turns out. And then 45, I feel like we can check that one off unless there's more that needs to be done there. 48 and 49 again would be SCDC.
And it's not like we only do these things. Well,
Right.
you know, we just did some improvements to Sunrise Park out there with some equipment and some things like that. And I know there's an effort to see if we need lighting out there. I don't know where that'll go, but there are other efforts happening, not just these few things. So that's exciting. Anything else anybody has to add?
Can I ask a question to Tom, maybe?
Sure.
When you were talking about the corridors, are you talking about, were you considering a more organized strategy so we don't have a hodgepodge of this and that? What were you thinking about?
Yeah, I think the intent of this goal was for us to develop an improvement plan that outlines a direction for improvement, whether it be broad or narrow, who knows? But at least it would be written and it would be discussed so that when opportunities come around or we look for opportunities, we know how to look for them, we know how to act on them when they do come. And it becomes a more congealed plan for both the city and SCDC to work together in moving forward on it. Right now, I would say that there's areas where I think that would help both sides of the process right now, where the city and SCDC, we finally get together, but sometimes it's not as smooth as it needs to be. And I think this would help, and I think that was the intent of the goal. So my question is, Ken, is that, what are we doing to move forward or move towards possibly putting together that plan? And that's the initial first step towards it. So
do you have any goals on what would be best for the city to be in those areas? You know, that type of planning?
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Whatever people want.
That's what I think needs to be discussed, Ken.
Okay, thank you.
Well, and one of the reasons we're talking about this is we'll revisit this. I don't think anybody's intent is to wait until all these are expired without revisiting and adding some new ones and that kind of thing on an annual basis when we get to budget time. It's just food for thought here.
No, I appreciate bringing it up today so we have a chance to actually talk about it, because we haven't talked about it since we made it.
Right.
And this is good. This is a good first step. So bringing accountability out of these is always a difficult thing. So I'm just trying to edge into that.
Okay. Any other comments? With that, we move into reports. Sam?
My report speaks for itself.
Todd, anything else?
No, thank you.
Mark?
We just, quickly, in addition to the visit we already talked about tomorrow, also tomorrow will be the monthly chamber luncheon with Aaron Pruitt talking about the honor flight, the good work he's doing on the honor flight. So that'll be tomorrow at noon upstairs as well.
Okay. Eric? Okay. Angie? Council to the left, Brad?
No.
That would be you. Okay, council to the right? No? All right. With that, I'm glad you mentioned the honor flight thing. That really went well last year, and I went on that. I had the privilege of going on that, and they do an outstanding job. It's really, really well done, so we need to back that as a community. With that, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call.
Snyder?
Aye.
Kent? Hamel?
Aye.
Ostrich? Eggers?
Aye.
All right.